Okay, thanks, Tamara. So for those of you that don't know me, my name is Sarah and I am a QNMD. I had the pleasure of going to Go Pro with Tamara and Hillary and Bronwyn and a few others. And I've got to say, it absolutely blew my socks off. Like, we all think we've got it together. We all think that we know what we need to do. And in most cases, we do. But there was just something about the whole Go Pro thing that I walked out of there absolutely bawling my eyes out. And today I just want to share with you guys the DMO. And there's two things around the DMO which I'm going to say, and I know a lot of you are going to be sitting out there going, I've heard it all before and I get it. But the two things are consistency and taking action. And they are two massive things, because I'm going to share with you three sort of different DMOs from three different speakers that we had at Go Pro, but they all touched on consistency and taking action. And this is the thing, like, if you think that you're building your business and you're being fluffy on Facebook, or you're just posting on Facebook and you're not actually taking the action of the high paying activities, then I'm sorry to say that you're really not building your business and you're not being consistent. It's the same as if you reach out to somebody today and then you don't reach out to somebody and share your product and your business for another 5 days. Right? So that is essentially what a DMO is. It's something that you can create. You don't have to stick to some of the points that I'm writing down here. It's what you can do individually, but something that you can do every single day that is going to build your business. So that's what's going to create results. So Eric Worre mentioned 5 things. First thing is using the product. Sounds simple. So every day you want to be a product of the product. Okay. The reason you want to use your product every day, and again, very, very simple, is you want to create an emotional experience around it. So if you've got somebody that's taking the product that has created a story around why they're taking the product, they're probably more likely going to want to share it with someone, as opposed to maybe somebody that's not on the product. Okay. Because we all create our own attachments, our own emotions, our own stories around what we're taking. And that also goes down to being able to share with people simple information about how to take the product and when to take the product. Because the other thing that Eric Worre mentioned was duplication. Sorry, I had a mind blank. Duplication. So the whole thing around duplication is keeping it simple. We want to keep things really simple, because sometimes we can overcomplicate it. We can go off onto all these different tangents and we're actually not creating or doing those high paying activities. So the second thing is sharing your product. Again, really, really simple. Use your story, share your product every single day. Sharing the business. So number 3, sharing the business. Number 4, which Tamara touched on as well, is personal development. So again, guys, with these points, it's up to you to decide, you know, how long you can spend on each item. If you've got half an hour to do this business every day, then maybe, you know, you're spending five minutes inviting someone. Maybe you're spending 5 minutes sharing your story. Maybe you're spending 5 minutes, you know, sharing your business. Maybe you're spending 15 minutes on personal development. Okay, but again, a little bit of personal development every day is what's going to grow you, because your business is not going to grow if you don't grow yourself. And the 5th thing is promoting events. Another thing that we all know, you want to attend events and you want to invite into events. And those are the 5 things that Eric, I don't know why I want to call him Eric Worre, Eric Worre went through, and they're so simple, but we keep forgetting how simple our daily activity can actually be to create results.
So Sarah, can I just get you, there's a few people just jumped on. Can you very briefly run through those 5 things again?
Yeah, so consistency and taking action every day is what's going to create your results. You want to be a product of the product. So using the product to create an emotional experience, so then you can share your story. So number 2 was sharing your story. Sharing the product using your story. Number 3 is sharing your business opportunity. Number 4 was personal development. And number 5 was promoting events. So attending and inviting events. Now, Lisa Gill she's actually from Arbonne. And I loved what she had to say. It's so simple, so damn simple. I actually had a giggle about it, but she's from Arbonne and she grew her business on 3 asks a day. Like, I mean, how simple is that? 3 asks a day. How simple is that to duplicate for somebody? How simple is that to go and teach somebody? Now, if you did 3 asks a day for 365 days of the year, you would have been talking to 1,095 people over the whole year if you just did 3 asks every day. Like, that just blows my mind off. So when I say 3 asks, I don't mean messaging someone saying, hi, how are you? I mean actually asking 3 people a day to either have a look at your products or have a look at your business. Simple as that. She also touched on something I'm a big believer in, and that's don't wait for all the answers, just ask. Okay, so I think that kind of ties in with you don't need to know everything. All you need to do is go and connect with people and talk to people. Don't get so caught up into how are you going to talk to people. Just be authentic, because the more people you talk to, the more that the better you're going to get, right? Because it's like, it's a skill. You need to grow it, so you need to practice it. Now, there are several ways she went into that you can ask somebody to have a look at your business or have a look at your product. Her things were, just ask somebody to try. Whatever verbiage that may be, you guys have got different relationships with different people, but ask someone, get your big girl panties on and just ask somebody to try your products. Would they like to have a try? Or the second thing, would they like to take a look, whether it's the products or the business? Or maybe you could ask them to go out for a coffee. And then when you're at the coffee catch up, you can kind of have a conversation around that. And then the next ask is obviously just asking them to an event. So there's several different ways that you can do that. Again, touching on the personal development, she does her personal development for about 30 minutes a day. And going into what Tamara said, product, company, industry, and yourself. And she kind of gave the analogy of the 4 legs of a table, okay? You need 4 legs on a table for the table to be rock solid and not move. And it's the same in our business. You need to have rock solid belief in those 4 areas so that you don't stumble down and you can go out there with confidence and posture. Again, keep it simple, keep it consistent, and be able to duplicate it. And the other thing she went into was tracking your numbers. So it doesn't matter whether you use the 30 day grid. It doesn't matter if you use a spreadsheet, a notebook, whatever's going to be easier for you. You need to know how many people are you actually talking to. I'm not not a hi, bye, see you later, whatever. How many people are you actually talking to about the business and about your opportunity? At the end of the day, can you actually look at your notepad or your grid and say, wow, I've actually invited 3 people, or it could be 5, it could be 2, whatever it is. I've actually spoken to the people that I said I was going to speak to today, not just a hi, bye, how are you? Those things, they're great at building relationships, but they're not building your business initially. So looking at your numbers, what do you think about what do you need to tweak? If you're not hitting your numbers, what can I do better? What do I need to do? Who do I need to become? What can I learn? And what do you need to do differently? So there were just some things that I picked up from the Arbonne lady, which I just thought was so damn simple. It was crazy. The other girl that she was quite funny, Anna Richardson, she was from Isogenics. Now, her DMO is a bit different. she uses social media a lot, and I've been following her on social media. It's funny, I actually have met her before. She came from someone who had no idea about social media to creating something I think is quite special. She's just herself. She's funny. And she's built herself quite a following, and her rule is a 4-2-1 rule. Now I'm just going to explain that a little bit. So she does 4, and this is posting on Facebook, okay? This isn't so much an inviting follow-up, asking people. This is purely just social media attraction marketing, I would call it. So 4 posts a week, okay? So those 4 posts that you're doing a week are showing up your authentic self, okay? It could be lifestyle, just showing who you are, going to a cafe, running the kids to school, whatever that might look like to you. Then there's going to be 2 posts a week that she does that kind of is more of a product post. So it could be you holding a smoothie, it could be, you know, your magic beans in your hand, whatever that may be for you. It could be a testimonial. So just 2 posts a week on what your products are doing for you, okay, or maybe for somebody else. Then 1 post a week, she says, is her power post. So what's a power post? That's like, I call it like a recruitment post. You know, could be something like you're hanging out in a cafe and your little verbiage could be, so excited to be hanging out at a cafe, who wants to link arms with me next? You know, that's just off the cuff. I mean, think about it, but you guys get the drift, right? She also makes it part of her DMO to comment on people's posts. So we all know with Facebook, you need to comment on people's posts for your stuff to be able to pop up into their feed. And being authentic. So again, that was one of her biggest things. And on Instagram, she's quite big on Instagram. I think she's, I don't know too much about Instagram. I love it. I post, but I can't tell you if it works or not, but it is for her. And she does a lot of attraction on there. So by following people and again, spending the time engaging and building relationships through there. I seem to have rushed through that quite quickly, but I just want to share with you guys my DMO, just to show that we are all different and we do all have different things. But I personally follow Simon Chan's DMO, and I have done consistently Monday to Friday for the last few months, and it is definitely working. But again, it goes along those whole guidelines of what we've just spoken about. So I will do 3 posts a day. I don't always do it on my timeline, but I'm big on stories. I probably post heaps on stories, but average about 3 posts a day. I invite 5 people. So my number's 5. Might not work for you, but my number's 5. So every single day, I will invite 5 people to look at the business or the products. I then make sure I connect with 5 people every day. So I make 5 new friends a day. And I don't just mean click on the friend button. I mean click on the friend button and actually start a conversation. I do 5 follow-ups a day. And usually out of that, I'll end up using the tools. So we have tools, guys. Remember, you don't need to know everything. Let the tools do the work. So usually that will see me sending out 3 links a day. So that's something that works for me. Again, it's the taking action. It's being consistent. Yeah. So Tamara, is there anything else you want me to go over before we actually get into some exciting stuff?
So Sarah, just to expand on that, you personally, since you've adopted that DMO, since you've adopted that consistency, can you tell everybody how you think this has started to impact on your business growth?
Well, I had plateaued for quite a long time, if I have to be honest. Like you mentioned in the beginning, I was overthinking it. I remember my aha moment was when I was on, which we're going to do in a minute, so none of you get off because that's just showing your fear. Let's all just stay on and get out of our comfort zone and do this, because you can build your business in the next 10 minutes. But I was sat on a Build Your Business with Simon Chan, and I remember I was sat there and I'm like, oh my God, Like, I hadn't had a lot of conversations, and I was like, who can I reach out to? And I was like, I can't just send someone a message without saying, like, you know, that was crazy. And Simon was like, no, Sarah, just send the damn message. And that was the biggest breakthrough for me, because now I don't sit there and overthink it. I just send the damn message. So last month, I put on 5 Frontline, which was huge for me because I had kind of just been staying the same. But I think the biggest thing that it's got me doing is going back and having really good conversations with people, but not spending days building those relationships. So literally, you know, I might go back with someone 3 times if I'm having a conversation, and then bing, I go in with the ask. And then other times I just go straight in with the ask.
And most importantly, you've got people in your funnel, so you don't feel like you're running out of people to speak to. You're constantly adding people to your list, and you're constantly moving through the invitation and the follow-up.
And people are really embracing it. Like, I've not had someone yet tell me where to go. Like, they're like, oh, thanks for thinking of me. I'd love to take a look. Or if they say, no, it's not for me, I'm always like, look, that's okay. Can we please stay in touch? They're like, yes, of course.
Yeah. So it's not really as scary as the story you were telling yourself.
No, you just got to send the message. You just got to send the message, turn your phone off, walk away.
Yeah. So I believe you're going to make us do that right now.
We are. So don't go anywhere. You need to get through this fear. Trust me.